Alright, let's settle this. Should you buy or rent in Dubai? Because if you've just moved here or you're thinking about relocating, you've probably already asked yourself this question 100 times. And trust me, I get it. Dubai property can be tempting. I mean, just look at it. But is buying actually the smart move financially? Or are you better off renting and keeping it flexible? In this video, I'm breaking it all down. Real numbers, real context, no fluff. And if you're seriously weighing up the numbers, I've got a free checklist that breaks it all down. Link in the description below. Let's make sure you walk away knowing exactly what's right for you. Buying versus renting. Why does this question even matter? Because in most cities, it's a no-brainer. You either rent forever because prices are insane, or you buy because you can afford a deposit and want to build up equity and release capital gains. But in Dubai, it's a little different. Here, you've got this mix of luxury lifestyle, zero tax, and fast-moving opportunities. There's also a big off-plan market with many developers offering enticing payment plans. People move here to level up, not to slow down. So you've got to be smart about your money from day one. For most people, housing is the biggest monthly cost. Whether you're renting or buying, it's a huge chunk of your income. And the decision you make here will shape your savings, your freedom, your flexibility, even your future investment options. For example, if you lock your cash into a down payment, can you still invest in your business? Can you respond to a career change? And what if you want to leave in 3 years? On the flip side, if you keep renting, you might be watching your money disappear every month without building any long-term value. And with rents rising like crazy in some areas, you might start asking, am I falling behind? So this isn't just a property question, it's a financial freedom question. And the right answer depends entirely on your goals, your timeline, and how you want to live. Let's break it all down so you can make that call with clarity. So let's start with renting, because for most expats, renting is the default move. You arrive in Dubai, you're still figuring out your job, your area, maybe even your visa status. So the idea of dropping $500,000 dirhams on a property might not be top of the to-do list. Let's break it down with an example. Say you're renting a decent 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai Marina. That's going to cost you around 120,000 dirham a year. So roughly 10,000 dirham a month. Now, on the surface, it's pretty straightforward. You pay your rent, you get a roof over your head, done. But what are you actually getting for that money? You get flexibility. You're not tied down to one place. You can move neighborhoods, upgrade, downgrade, leave the country, whatever you need. You have low upfront costs. Apart from a deposit and maybe a few checks, you're not forking out hundreds of thousands to get started. There are no ownership responsibilities. If the AC breaks, it's your landlord's headache, not yours. That might sound minor, but in Dubai's climate, air conditioning issues are not rare. There's cash flow freedom. Your money stays liquid, which means you can use it for investing, growing a business, or even just staying agile. But here's the trade-off. That 10K a month, it's gone. There's no asset at the end of it. No return, no equity, no future upside. And with Dubai rents rising, in some areas by over 20% in the past 12 months, you're actually at the mercy of the market. You could be paying significantly more next year just to stay in the same place. Plus, landlords could increase your rent within RERA guidelines. And those increases are based on the rental index, which doesn't always move in your favor. So while renting keeps things simple short term, it can become expensive over the long run, especially if you're planning to stay in Dubai for more than 3 to 5 years. Let's be clear, it's not bad, but it's not building anything either. So the question becomes, how long are you planning to stay? And what could that rent money be doing for you instead? Because the longer you stay, the more that rent adds up, and the more you might start thinking, should I have just bought instead? Now let's flip it and talk about buying. While renting is about flexibility, buying is about playing the long game. Let's say you're eyeing that same 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai Marina. The asking price will be about 1.8 million dirhams. To get a mortgage, you'll need to put at least 20% down. So that's 360,000 right there. And we're not done. You'll also need to cover 4% Dubai land department fee, 2% agency commission, mortgage processing fees, a valuation fee, and a few other bits and pieces. So all in, you're looking at around 400 to 450,000 just to get started. Let's pause there for a second. That's a big amount of money for most people to put down. It's a serious commitment for a place you might be completely new to. Now let's look at your monthly mortgage payment. For a 1.8 million dirham property, assuming a 25-year term at 4.5% interest, you're paying roughly around 8,000 to 9,000 dirhams per month. Pretty close to what you'd pay in rent, but here's the big difference. That monthly payment is going towards an asset, a place you own. Part of your monthly payment is interest, yes, but the rest is equity. Your stake in property grows every month. Fast forward 5 or 10 years, assuming market grows at a modest 3 to 4% a year, which is actually quite conservative for Dubai, that 1.8 million property could be worth 2.4 million dirhams in a decade. It's not a guarantee, of course. The market can go up, down, sideways, but historically, Dubai's prime areas tend to appreciate in the long run, especially during up cycles. Now here's where it gets interesting. Even if you leave Dubai, you're not stuck. You can rent out the property, and with current rental yields sitting between 6 and 8% and higher in some cases, you can turn that apartment into a passive income stream. Tax-free rental income with no capital gain either. That's one of the major advantages of owning property in Dubai compared to many Western countries. Plus, owning a property here can also help with visa options, a benefit many expats overlook. But, and this is important, buying is not for everyone. You need to be clear about 3 things. Number 1, are you planning to stay long enough to make the upfront costs worthwhile? If you buy and sell within 1 to 2 years, you might lose money just on fees alone. Number 2, do you have the cash to cover the down payment comfortably without wiping out your emergency fund or investment capital? Number 3, are you prepared to deal with the realities of ownership, be that service charges, maintenance calls, market volatility? It's not a passive decision, it comes with responsibility. But if you're ready, if your life and finances are stable, and you see yourself in Dubai long term, then buying might not just make sense, it might actually be one of the smartest moves you can make here. Alright, let's talk about hidden costs, because whether you're renting or buying in Dubai, there's always more going on behind the scenes. Let's start with renting. You'd think it's just 10k a month, done, but it's not always that simple. Most landlords in Dubai still ask for rent in 1 to 4 checks. That means you might have to hand over 3, 6 or even 12 months up front. Then there's the 5% agency fee on your first year's rent. On 120,000, that's another 6,000 just to sign the lease. Add the security deposit, 5%, move-in fees from the building management, DIWA, activation, internet setup, and sometimes a Jari registration if your landlord doesn't sort it. That's easily an extra 10 to 15k just to walk through the door. Now flip it and let's talk about buying. As a homeowner, you have to consider service charges, usually between 10 to 30 dirham per square foot per year. That's roughly 18 to 54,000 annually for a 1,800 square foot apartment. There's repairs and maintenance. Your air conditioning dies in July, that's 2,000 dirhams plus. Plumbing issues, 5 to 1,000 dirhams. Appliance replacements for fridges, dishwashers, cookers, they're all on you. And unlike rent, these costs aren't predictable. They come when they come. Plus, you've got the opportunity cost. That 400k spent to buy the home could have invested in a business. It could have gone towards stocks, shares, crypto, or even a second property somewhere else. Finally, there's timing. Real estate isn't always liquid. If you suddenly need to sell and the market's flat or dipping, you might struggle to get your money out quickly or at a price that you're happy with. So whether you rent or buy, you're not escaping risk. You're just choosing a different kind of risk. And understanding those trade-offs, that's where clarity starts. So let's make this real now. When does it make more sense to rent and when does it make more sense to buy? Let's start with renting. Renting makes more sense if you've just moved to Dubai, you're still figuring out the city, your job, maybe even where you want to live. Don't rush into a mortgage whilst you're still unpacking your suitcase. You don't know how long you're going to stay. Dubai can be a launch pad. People come here for 2 years and end up staying for 10, or even the reverse. If your plans are flexible or temporary, renting keeps you nimble. If you want to stay liquid, Buying a house locks up hundreds of thousands of dirham. If you're building a business, investing in markets, or just want financial breathing room, keeping your cash accessible could give you more leverage. If you value lifestyle freedom, let's say you want to try living in JVC this year and maybe downtown next year, renting gives you flexibility to move around and explore the city without commitment. Renting's not financial failure. It's a strategic choice if it fits your season in life. Now, buying makes more sense if you're in Dubai for the long haul. If you plan to stay 5 years or more, buying starts to make a lot more financial sense. Over time, your equity builds and your costs stabilize, unlike rent, which can spike unexpectedly. You've saved enough without wiping yourself out. If you've got your down payment and you've still got your emergency savings and investment capital, then you're in a strong position to buy without becoming asset rich and cash poor. If you want to lock in your housing costs, rent can go up every year, but ownership gives you stability. And in Dubai, you're not just locking in costs, you're avoiding tax on potential gains. If you're thinking of long-term wealth, owning a property in Dubai can create passive income streams later down the line. And with no capital gains tax, your profits stay in your pocket if you decide to sell. If you're ready to settle, buying a property often reflects more than just financial logic. It's a signal that you're building something here, roots, stability, and a future. So here's the truth. Both renting and buying can be great decisions if they're aligned with your timeline, your finances, and your lifestyle goal. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there is a right answer for you, and that's what matters most. If this helps clarify things, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button for more smart money insights on Dubai. And if you want a full financial breakdown on whether you should personally rent or buy, grab my free checklist in the description. It's got real numbers, real scenarios, and questions most people don't ask. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep building smart.